Okay, part 2, question 11. 4 candidates in an election were A, B, C and D. Pie chart shows the proportion of votes for each candidate. I've got the pie chart here, and work out the probability that the person who voted, chosen at random, voted for C. Okay, so we look at it and we see what information we know. Well, we know A is 90 degrees of the circle. So B, C and D add up to the remaining 270 degrees, because 90 from 360 gives us 270. So X plus 2x plus 10 plus 2x will equal 270 degrees. So we have X plus 2x plus 10 plus 2x equals 270 degrees. So 5x plus 10 equals 270. So 5x equals 270 minus 10. So 5x equals 260. So x equals 52 degrees. So we know x is 52 degrees. So the probability of those that voted for C. So C is 2x plus 10. So C is 2x, so that's 104 plus 10, which equals 114 degrees. And then, being the good boy that I am, the probability of C would be 114 of the 360 degrees. Okay, there's no need to cancel down the fraction, we can leave it as that, as it's a probability. So 114 of the 360 voted for C, or at least that's the probability. Okay, and that question there, 4 marks. So you can see we're getting into questions now where excuse me, you have to do something to do something. Okay, so I'll pause there and we'll go on to the next one. Okay, so question 12. Use approximations. So this is the word to pay attention to. And estimate. So we don't need an exact answer. So use approximations to one significant figure to estimate the value of this horrible equation. So you must show your working. So this is for 3 marks. So what we're going to do is we're going to make all of these numbers to one significant figure. So 0.526 to one significant figure would be 0.5 multiplied by to one significant figure, that would be 40, and that's squared, and we want root 97.65 to one significant figure would be 100. So now we have 0.5 multiplied by, now 40 squared, 40 times 40 is 1600, and the root of 100 is 10. Sorry, that should be 0.5. So 0.5 multiplied by 1600. So what we're saying is 1600 halves. So 1600 halves will give us 800, and that's divided by 10. So we can cancel top and bottom, which gives us 80 over 1, which gives us 80. So our final answer is 80. So the trick, read question properly, okay? They don't want an exact answer, they only want an approximation and an estimate. So they're saying twice what they want us to do, and it says to one significant figure, and our answer 80 is to one significant figure anyway. So change everything to one significant figure. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Okay, question 13. So x to y equals 7 to 4, that's the ratio, and x plus y equals 88. So 7 plus 4 gives us 11 shares. Okay, and we know that x plus y, so that will be all the shares, equals 88. So 88 divided by 11 equals 8. So that equals 1 share. So we can say these three dots mean therefore, okay? Therefore x has 7 shares, so this is 7 times 8, which is 56, and y equals 4 shares, which is 4 times 8, which is 32. So now we know x and y. Work out the value of x minus y. So x minus y equals 56 minus 32, which gives us 24. So our final answer is 24. Okay, so again, I think that's fairly simple. So it's just holding your nerve and seeing that x to y is 74, so x plus y is 88. So these shares must equal 88. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so number 14. two congruent regular polygons are joined together. So if they're congruent, they are exactly the same as one another. So two polygons that are the same as one another are joined together, okay, and we get this gap here of 60 degrees. So work out the number of sides on each polygon. So what I've done is I've drawn a line down which will bisect that angle, and we can see that the external angle of either of the polygons is going to be 30 degrees. So the one thing that we know is that all external angles add up to 360 degrees. Now, because I know that this is 30 degrees, if I divide 360 by 30, that will tell me how many external angles we have. So consequently, that will tell me how many sides. Now 30 goes into 360, 3 12s are 36, so we get 12. So we have 12 sides. So our answer would just be 12 sides. Okay, and you get 3 marks for that. So all external angles add up to 360 degrees. So if we divide the external angle into 360, that will tell us how many external angles and also how many sides. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. They're great lovers of putting one question on the page, aren't they? Okay, question 15. Meal deal, choose one sandwich, one drink and one snack. So there are 7 different sandwiches, 5 different drinks and 3 different snacks. How many different meal combinations are there? This is a very good example of how we can't possibly teach you everything that may come up in the exam. So this is one of those occasions. So if you think about this logically, okay, if you've got 7 different sandwiches, okay, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, 7 different sandwiches, and then 5 different drinks. So off of here you're going to have 5 drinks off of every one of these, and then you're going to have 3 different snacks, so you're going to have 3 lines come off of every one of those. Okay, so you could, if you wanted to, do a tree diagram. Okay, but what we can do is we can short circuit this. So this is why doing these past papers is useful. If we've got 7 different sandwiches, for every one of those sandwiches you're going to have 5 different drinks, so that's 7 times 5. And for every one of those combinations you're going to have 3 different snacks. So it's literally just 7 times 5 times 3. Okay, so 5 7s are 35, 3 35s are 105. So there are 105 combinations. Hope I've explained that okay. If you want to, you can draw a tree diagram and then, you know, mark it all up. but it's an enormous amount of work to do. So you just literally multiply the numbers together, and that will give you the combination, the number of combinations. Okay, this always works. Okay, so the next question. 2 of the sandwiches have cheese in them. 3 of the drinks are fizzy. Eva picks a meal deal at random. Work out the probability that the sandwich has cheese in it, and they've highlighted and the drink is fizzy. So because it's and, we're going to multiply. So the sandwich has cheese in it. So it says 2 of the sandwiches have cheese in them. So there are 7 different sandwiches. So a cheese sandwich would have a probability of 2 over 7, because 2 of the 7 sandwiches have cheese. 3 of the drinks are fizzy. So fizzy drinks so 3 of the 5 are fizzy. Okay. And she takes a snack. 3 different snacks. So she chooses a meal deal at random. Okay. So we know that she's going to choose a snack, and it doesn't matter which one. Okay, because it's not specified. They just want to know what's the probability of sandwich with cheese and a drink is fizzy. So that will be 2 over 7 multiplied by 3 over 5. Okay, which gives us 6 over 35. So the probability is 6 over 35. Okay, that's it. So they've highlighted and for you to remember the multiplication. Okay, and then it's just a question of, well, what's the probability of a cheese sandwich and what's the probability of a fizzy drink? Okay, so I hope that helps. So we'll move on to the next question. Okay, so 16. Water is poured into a tank. The graph shows the number of litres of water in the tank. Okay, so the water's going in an even pressure, or it's filling evenly, and how much water is poured in the tank each minute. Circle your answer. So you could do this with any of these times. Okay, now I chose 4 minutes because it crosses the line exactly at 60 litres. Okay, whereas if I'd have gone to 2, say, that looks about 30, but I'd like to make sure. Okay, so if it's going in 60 litres in 4 minutes, then obviously it's 15 litres in 1 minute. So I can say it's 15 litres in 1 minute. That's it. It's just a question of can you see. Okay, so we move on to the next question. Okay, so 17, A and B are similar solids. We've got solid A and solid B. The length of solid A is 1, the length of solid B is 2. Now if they're similar, that means that one is proportionally bigger than the other, or one is proportionally smaller than the other. So Alex says the volume of B is double the volume of A because the length of B is double the length of A. Is he correct? Now the answer is no. And sometimes this is where it pays to draw the little picture. So if I just explain to you why, I should have been an artist. So let's say we've got a cube, and let's say this is 2 centimetres, this is 2 centimetres, and this is 2 centimetres. Okay, the volume would be 2 times 2 times 2, which would give us 8, let's say, centimetres cubed. Now, if they're similar and the length is twice, so this would be 4, then all other measurements must also be proportional. So this would be 4 and this would be 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, and 4 times 16 is 64 centimetres cubed. So we can see that it doesn't double, it actually goes up 8 times bigger. Okay, because the length and the width and the height have to all be proportional. So that's why no, he's not correct. And then in here I've said if solids are similar, then depth will be twice A, so the volume will be 8 times larger. Okay, don't be afraid of doing this. Okay, just to show yourself and to convince yourself that you're right. Okay, question 18. Circle the 2 roots of this. Okay, now the roots are the values for x. So remember, we take the x value and we change the sign of the number. So 2x equals minus 3. So x equals minus 3 over 2, or minus 1.5. And then we've got 5x minus 2. So 5x would equal plus 2. So x would equal 2/5. Okay, and here we can see x is 2/5 and x is minus 3 over 2. Okay, so if you're a bit unsure about this 5x equals 2, then you just bring this number and put it underneath. Okay, because this was 5 times x, so the 5 becomes divide on the other side. This was 2x, so the 2 becomes divide on the other side. Okay, so again, a nice easy mark. So I'll pause again. Okay, question 19. So now we get to the good stuff. The diagram shows a triangle and a trapezium, so we know these two lines are parallel. and we have to prove that A equals B. So proofs mean that we have to write down things that we know. So for example, angle B plus angle C will add up to 180 degrees because they're what we call co-interior angles. So angle B plus C equals 180 degrees, and then in brackets I just write co-interior angles. Okay. Now we also know that this full circle here would be angle A plus angle C plus 115 plus 65. So we can say that A plus B plus, sorry for jerking around a bit, 65 plus 115 equals 360. So we can say that A plus C plus 65 plus that equals 360. So we can say A plus C plus, now 65 plus 115 is 180 degrees equals 360. Therefore A plus C equals 360 minus 180. Therefore A plus C equals 180. So now we can see that A plus C equals 180 and B plus C equals 180. So A must equal 180 minus C and B equal 180 minus C. Therefore A plus B, therefore A equals B, which was the purpose of this here. Okay, so we've proven it because A equals 180 minus C and B equals 180 minus C, so A must equal B. So this is proving something is by taking information that you know. So when you get this sort of question, always start it off and write out what you know. Okay. When I first did this question, because obviously I've done all these before, but when I first did this question, I started off by writing what I know, and then eventually the penny drops halfway through and you can see why you're being asked to prove something, because you can see the connection. Okay, so because the questions are now getting longer, I'm going to stop and I'm going to have a part 3, and I'll do the final few questions.